Hello everyone, I am Tacit and welcome to the Gems of War Tower of Doom stream, week 24, day 5. So today, of course, we got a lot of stuff earlier today. We ended up getting the Eldrazhor faction. We're going to be primarily doing that today, as we need to go deeper. I believe we are currently exactly at 300, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, we want to get all the way to the end. Today, we're going to be just going and delving quite a bit deeper. And then tomorrow, we will do level 500 pure faction. That is the game plan. Or, you know, tomorrow night, this time, AP means the standard time, as we do every night. But anyways, so that's going to be our main thing. Other than that, well, it popped up for me. How convenient. I was just about to mention you. We got a new Mythic today. It is 100% useless, but we did indeed get a new Mythic called Ishtara. It is a Dragon's Claw Mythic. It is basically the inverse of elhay and worse in like every possible way. Unfortunately, it is going to be never used, ever. The only reason I would ever really get it is if you have so much resources you don't know what to do with them. Or if you are looking to get a 10-star Dragon's Claw and you prefer using keys rather than diamonds. If you're looking to use diamonds in order to get 10-star, you want to do either one or the other. Either get the Mythic currently off keys to get 10-star, or the other alternative, which is better, but only if you want to use diamonds, which is a pretty good resource, so not sure if you necessarily want to. But elhay, oddly enough, is actually available this week, which is also available to 10-star to Kingdom. So you have basically either or as your option. Either throw keys to get the other one, or do elhay and do it this way. Overall, elhay is stronger than it. However, both of them are relatively useless in the current state of the game. Even elhay. Elhay used to be like semi-meta, but ever since Submerge came into the game, he's been pretty dead. It's because Submerge hard counters him, and normally the team that he gets used in, or the teams that he gets used in, don't really function and don't normally have a Dispel. Because there's no room to fit a Dispel into them, because you need 4 times burn rather than a 4 times Dispel. But anyways, hello everyone! Hello John, hello Steve, hello Captain, hello Bill, hello Lestat, hello Isabel, hello everyone else. Welcome, welcome. Hope you've all had a good week. Actually, it's not even weekend yet. I guess it's the start of the weekend. Well, it depends when you consider the start of the weekend. I almost consider Friday as the start of the weekend these days, but technically it's tomorrow. But anyways, let's go and start getting into it. Start getting into some delves. As far as the current team that we're using Yasmin's Pride, Tulio, and Double Ketris. You may notice something familiar. This is actually the exact same thing we ran for Tower of Doom throughout this entire week, which of course we have done at this point. But for Tower of Doom, towards the later battles, we ended up running the exact same thing. Yasmin's Pride, Tulio, Double Ketris. The reason for this is they both share green. And oddly enough, we basically just used the exact same teams the entire time. I used Rowan Quick Kill with Leprechauns for the beginning. Then I didn't actually shift in between, but if I was going to, I was going to shift into a true damage team, which would have been pretty much exactly what we used during the green event, and then we would have switched to what we did, which is the Ketris build. So we pretty much just mirrored both of them, but it works, so we ended up doing it. We're also at the point where we're doing rush method now, so for all of these delves, we will simply be doing the simple 3 just to get it forward, and keep doing that, and yeah, just get really deep as the game plan. Also, how on earth did I misclick that hard? You do have to be a bit careful about this delve. This delve does have a new troop to Zolkari, of course, which is associated to, which ends up giving a very annoying benefit to that team, which is it has 100% chance to revive, as you saw right there. This is extremely annoying to deal with, to say the least. And, yeah, it's pretty awful. But we gotta deal with it. 100% chance to revive. There's 2 ways around this. One that we were doing while we were doing the Rowan build, if you happen to have it, is instead of running double Leprechaun, run one single Leprechaun, and then go with a Obsidious. Obsidious has a 4 times stun that you can end up utilizing. The other alternative is run Titan Hero class. Titan Hero class, aside from all the normal good benefits it has the ability to do stun whenever it gets hit with skull damage. This is beneficial because if you can bait them out on a skull, you'll be able to get them stunned, and then you don't have to worry about the revive. One nice thing about where the 100% revive is on both the first and final battle is that it is the very first battle. It is the Deep Huntsman in the first slot on both sides. This is very good because if you do get it stunned by them hitting you with a skull, you won't have to deal with their trait. So highly advised to use something like Titan if you don't have other stunning alternatives, since Titan is pretty cheap. He literally has it on his very first perk. So you play one battle with Titan, you already have it. But yeah, it is highly advised using something like Titan, and at least get it to level 40, of course, so you get Barrier every round. It's one of the main reasons for using Titan and similar related classes. So I'll take this for now. Of course, we gain a barrier from taking that brown. Go to keep targeting green. The whole point of Tulio, very rarely is Tulio better than Leprechaun. However, when you fully mana block something, like this Ketris fully mana blocking the other Ketris, it is good to consider running a Tulio. It's very rare that's better. However, this is one of those particular instances, mostly because one really good benefit that Tulio has is that it's really good at feeding mana to things that are fully blocked by mana. Because unlike normal explosions where it'll go from your top troops down, something like Tulio will apply to every single troop, even if they are fully blocked on mana. So great option when you're blocking a lot, which we are in this kind of case. So hello, Original. Hello, Birdleaf. Welcome, welcome. If anyone has any questions or anything you want me to go over, let me know. Still haven't covered a video for it. I'll probably do that some point tomorrow morning-ish. But we will get that up soon. Of course, the video going over all the faction stuff. Of course, we went over it quite in depth on the previous stream. But if you guys still have any questions now, feel free to ask about it. Let's see. But yeah, the earlier build that we ran was Urskea Shield, Rowan, Leprechaun. And if you want to make it more expensive, you replace one of the Leprechauns with Obsidious, which gives you a really good stun to work with, so you don't have to deal with his revive. So right here, I'm going to go for a green. You almost always want to cast this Tulio on green, since every single thing on the team does indeed use green, so that's generally what you want to target out. The only real big issue here is his first slot's about to revive. I do not have a way to stun him at the moment. I kind of want to take a brown and start baiting that out. It's kind of weird, but you kind of have to deliberately let it have a skull, just so that you can end up getting it. However, at this point, I think I might just kill it directly. As much as I don't want to have to do something like that, I think we're going to have to here. So I'll target on green here. Tulio doesn't actually use magic, so her being webbed does not really have much of an effect. Yasmin's Pride, while it does get affected some, most of its boost ratio is from their stats, so that also doesn't get as affected. And Ketris also pulls from a lot of his other stats, so him too doesn't really get too much affected. Even while webbed, he would still have 492 damage in this instance, plus the base value of 4. So he'd still be hitting plenty fine. He'd be hitting a 196 right now, even with 0 magic. Right now he's hitting like 570, somewhere around there, if you add his magic into his other value. Okay, we got Yasmin's Pride. We'll go throw this onto his first slot, target it directly, and then just throw like a double poke over there or something. One really annoying thing... Oh gosh, now we get it stunned, a little late. But one other annoying thing about the Stealth is if you're using a Ketris build, or anything that targets for that matter, it does have Stealthy. And this can, of course, get in the way of how you target your options. This isn't too big a deal for the most part, but it does slightly slow down the rate of the battles, which is rather unfortunate. But at least there's only one Stealthy in both the first and final battle. It's not like it's multiple, making it near impossible to get a shot off. But no, it's small enough that you can normally get your shot exactly where you want, or pretty much where you want. So good evening, Ella. Welcome. You went with 3 times persistence? Yeah, you can go down that route. That route can work for pretty much any location where the colors would allow. Same as the 3 times finesse. 3 times finesse is always pretty funny for running for various Stealths. Though, of course, this one is not yellow related. But whenever it is yellow related, you can run something like that. But yeah, those Guardians, the ones that came during the epic ones, those 6, they're pretty solid. Quite a few of them have a pretty decent ability. I do feel like the Tulio one works out a little bit better, though. That really depends on what your color restriction is, of course. Because Tulio can, like, infinite loop its own mana as long as you don't have a mana drainer, which in most situations you don't have to deal with on. Okay, so right here where you can see that he's stunned, we obviously want to go kill him while he's stunned, because when he is, he will not get a summon. He has a 100% chance to summon, however, while stunned, he, of course, has no % chance to get it, since his trait is disabled. So that is exactly when you, of course, want to kill it out, so that you don't have to deal with the 100% chance to revive. And ideally, you want to do that every single battle you are up against it, though, of course, sometimes they're easier than others as far as baiting out a skull. Also, even if they bait out a skull onto your barrier, it will still trigger on them, so it's good to be barriered up so you don't take any damage as well. So you kind of get both of them combined together. Getting a stun hit on it so you don't have to deal with a revive, plus you don't take any damage. Obviously, the later you go, the more important it is to not take any damage, of course. For the earlier battles, it doesn't matter too much. You wouldn't even need a team like this necessarily. But for the later you go, the more dangerous it will be. Also, if you are using this exact team or similar team earlier on in the battles, you can do this with a Shaman hero class, the team that we're currently using. The reason I'm currently using Titan, well, obviously there's 2 reasons. One is for that stun, of course, which I was mentioning. But the other reason is for the barrier every round. One big problem that Shaman has is it doesn't have a... it doesn't really have much for survivability. And for that reason, it tends to die relatively quick. if you're up against really high damage. And for the earlier delves, it's not much of an issue, but the later you go, obviously that becomes increasingly more of a issue. You're running Skull Spam. Yes, you can run Skull Spam with Wild Queen. You do have the access in both Tower of Doom as well as for this faction to use any colored weapon in the game. So you are allowed to use something like a Mang and just do a bunch of Skull Spam behind it. One really nice thing about this faction as well, even though we're primarily using green teams, you do have access to purple as well. So with purple, you can end up going things like all the purple Skull Spams, like Keeper of Souls and similar things like that, which obviously is very good for doing a lot of damage, especially with things like Mang. You can do it with Apothecary and just feed like a Mang into Apothecary into like Keeper of Souls, and boom, you just won. Might even show that as one of the teams. It's a good non-mythic team. Mang, Apothecary, Keeper of Souls, and one other option. What exactly the other option is pretty flexible. You could run another Skull Spammer, you can run Leprechaun. It really depends what you have and how you want to run it. Oh, I forgot to stun him, didn't I? Oh, no, I didn't. Haha! Perfect timing. That was 100% perfect timing, otherwise I would have made him revive. That was actually really good that he didn't die there, otherwise we would have to have dealt with that. Okay, let's go get a Yasmin's Pride on him. We'll go waste a turn. Doesn't even matter what we do this turn. So, doesn't even matter what we target on. We'll have all the mana we need to kill it regardless due to enchant, and he's dead. There we go. In case we need another shot for whatever reason that we wouldn't have. Hello, Gustavo! Welcome! Double Truffle? Oh yeah, you can use Truffle too. Unfortunately, you don't have access to two really good things that normally make Truffle work, though. You don't have Forest Troll, and you don't have Mirage Queen. But yes, you can still get away with Truffle and beat Tricks teams. However, you don't have their main support options, which is a little unfortunate. They can still get away with it. But yeah, as you mentioned, you still have access to Throw, so you can still use Throw as a pretty big mana accumulator. And you even have access to Leprechaun Throw as well. So, obviously, if you have access to Throw, you have access to Leprechaun Throw, because obviously you would have to have purple. So I guess it's kind of redundant, isn't it? You'd always have access to Leprechaun Throw if you have access to Throw, since they would both obviously use purple, since Throw only uses purple. Let's see, we'll take that over. Okay, I'm going to hit it directly so we can get rid of its summon. Well, we kind of had to. It had Stealthy. But we're going to hit that directly so that we don't have to deal with the summon thing. I kind of want one more Yasmin's Pride here. I don't really think that's going to make too big of a difference here, but we'll still throw that down. And then one more Catchers will kill it out. Tulio here, I'm actually just going to cast onto red. We'll do it on the more populated color because we're doing our final hit anyway, so we don't need to get our mana back. Of course, the main reason we normally do it off of green is because we want everything to get the mana. However, she does have a boost ratio at a 4-to-1 based on how many gems are on the board of what you target. So if there's more of that gem, you will end up getting more mana. So in instances like that, you do want to, if you're nearing the end of the battle, instead of targeting green or whatever the most populated, or whatever the main color of your team is, in this case green, you can also build into yellow. But you would instead target whatever the most populated is relative to what you need to fill. So, for example, instead of the green, we could target either red or brown, depending on which one is more needed for the battle. Okay, so what do we need here? We are going to take yellow, so we can go cast this again. Because we don't have too many other options at the moment. He just removed all green. That is rather unfortunate. You get to choose, too. And you chose to get rid of green. Of all the colors, why would you choose green? Probably because we need it the most. The AI knows. It's learning. Okay, I need to get full mana on first troop, so I will go do this on green so we can get another Tulio if we need, which I think we will in order to defeat Ketris. So I'll throw that down. Stealthy's in a bit of a weird location, but we'll let it do its thing. We have enough HP from Yasmin's Pride that we're not going to be dying anytime soon, so that's fine. And then we could just go get Ketris back up. Probably should have done a little bit of a buff to its mana thing. Once again, we could target red instead of green just because we're ending the end of the battle and won't necessarily need it. However, that might be a lie because he just got a summon! Which is going to make us have to go get all the everything again. That's rather annoying, though luckily Tulio got all of its stuff back up. So you know what, we will go green just so we can end it. Get that out. And I believe that is enough for Ketris to kill, and it is indeed. This is boost ratio alone is 510. It's not even counting his base damage. So he's doing over 600 with that. Very nice. Okay, let's keep going. We'll probably go until we run out of sigils. We'll probably go until we run out of sigils. Depending on how many Val Ravens we get. I assume we're only going to get about 1 or 2 more Val Ravens. We're definitely going to need tomorrow's battles. And even if we have enough battles, I will be doing it tomorrow night. Like I said to everyone on the previous stream that we will do it tomorrow night. So we'll do it tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the pure faction that is. That is not the color I wanted. Wow. Did I really just accidentally misclick yellow? Obviously meant to click green there. Well then, that's rather unfortunate because now we don't have Yasmin's Pride, and I gotta wait a whole turn now to do nothing with, so we'll do nothing there. will then target green. The thing I should have targeted the previous round and didn't on accident. At least if nothing else, he's going to get re-stunned, so we don't need to worry about that. We just do this. That's hopefully enough to adjacent kill. Even if it's not, we'll be able to next turn. Hopefully he remains stunned. Of course he doesn't. That is rather problematic. I should have just targeted him directly. Now we need to go re-stun him. It is probably worth waiting until we get re-stunned rather than having to deal with that all over again. So I shall wait it out. We'll throw one over here, though, so we could pressure a little bit of damage. We're still going to need one other hit. However, we'll still wait it out. Let it do its little thing. It's not really going to do much. We'll go for actually really nothing. I guess we bait out a skull just so he'll take a skull so we can then go kill it. And now we just need one more cast and then we can kill it out. And we'll just do it on red since it's more populated. And it is dead. Red to dead. And there we go. Okay, next battle. Yeah, with 14 more, we'll definitely get at least one Valraven. 2 is rather questionable, because the way that Valravens work is quite a bit different in Delves compared to when you're doing a normal event. Normally, it takes about like 4 or so battles in order for a Valraven to appear, but obviously there are way more battles within a Delve. So on average, it's like 4 Delve rooms worth of battles. So it takes almost around like 30-ish battles or so before you get a Valraven. The reason why this is relevant is that it is specifically battles and not rooms advanced. So for this reason, it takes a very long time to get a Valraven if you're doing the skipping method. Because in the case right now, we're only doing about 3 kills every sigil. Whereas if we were doing it the other way around, we'd be doing like, what, 8, 9? Depends which faction it is. But we're doing way less than that now. So that's a bit of a liability because instead of getting like 2 more sigils every like 4 or so factions, we're actually getting one like every 10 or so factions. So quite a bit of a gap. Obviously, you can fix this simply by doing every single room. However, doing every single room is very time consuming. And if you have the gems, not only do you get extra stats for the final battle, but also makes things a little bit less annoying with how many useless battles you have to take up to that point. Of course, you get a lot of loot along the ways, but some of the later floors could take a really long time to actually clear out every single room, depending on what color options you have, as well as just what troop options in general you have as well. And even with everything in the game, it could still be relatively annoying having to do every room in like 400 to 490 up to that point. Hello, Manic! Welcome! So hello, Jefferson, if I didn't already say hi. If anyone else has any other questions, let me know. Make sure to answer them all. Otherwise, of course, this entire stream is dedicated towards delving this place and getting all the way through. But yeah, not much to really go over with the Mythic. Previous stream, we basically didn't touch it. In this stream, we'll probably be doing the same. Or, you know, not really touching it. It's unfortunately so useless that we can't even really give it the time of day to bother using it. To be honest, it's just that bad. Like normally we'd at least like mess with it a little bit. It's like, oh, there might be a viable team somewheres. No, there isn't. It just doesn't exist for it. And won't in the current state of the game. Unless they buff up Bless somehow. It's already pretty buffed though. It has Cleanse whenever you trigger it onto something. And also, of course, gives you immunity to nearly everything in the game. The one pretty noteworthy thing it does not have an immunity towards is instant kill. Bless does not give you immune to instant kill. It'd be kind of cool if they ever eventually did do that. I think that their biggest concern about that is it would be too overpowered in some situations, which is probably the main reason why they didn't opt to go down that route. I don't think they've ever... I don't know. Have they ever nerfed or buffed a stats effect? I'm trying to think. They have prior to release. They actually nerfed Freeze very hard prior to release. What Freeze was originally going to be, which good thing it's not, because gosh, would it be so broken. It's already pretty broken as is. But Freeze prior to release was originally going to be, if a single thing on your team was frozen, it would be literally impossible for you to extra turn in any way, shape, or form. It just wouldn't be possible, regardless of the condition. It just always would not be possible if you had a single freeze anywhere on your team. That obviously would have been very absurdly annoying. That can already almost happen if, of course, they have a lot of freeze spam on their team. However, instead of having to freeze out the entire enemy team in every single color and every single variant of everything, it was originally going to be just one freeze, no extra turns for the full duration, which would obviously have been much, much worse. Other than that, actually, there was another one that was reworked quite a few times, Deathmark. Deathmark used to have a 2-turn delay, and it was completely useless. Then it had a 0-turn delay. Then it was broken beyond belief. And now it has a 1-turn delay. However, it is very weak with this 1-turn delay, mostly because of how it refreshes. Even if something is already deathmarked, and you go... Why did I do that? That was kind of pointless. Oh, we get it full mana next turn. But anyways, The main reason why Death Mark's actually pretty underwhelming in the current state of the game, though you'd probably think otherwise if you're against Life and Death team, but generally speaking, one of the reasons why Death Mark is relatively underpowered in the current state of the game is it actually has a full 1-turn delay. And the weird thing about this 1-turn delay is you would think if something already has a Death Mark and you re-Death Mark it, that it wouldn't regain the 1-turn delay, but it does. It refreshes the timer for it to cleanse. However, it also refreshes the whole 1-turn delay thingy that it has. So it basically is rather pointless to reinstall a Death Mark onto an enemy until it's pretty much been completely removed, because you're basically making it so that following turn they are immune to Death Mark due to the 1-turn delay thing that it has, which is just a really clunky mechanic that I wish they would fix. Like, they could still keep the 1-turn delay, but they need to make it so a Death Mark reapplying to something does not reestablish that 1-turn delay. Because in the current state of the game, that just makes it way too clunky. Of course, Life and Death can still use it pretty effectively, but that's because Life and Death, even with no Death Marks, is already absurd. So just giving it some free Death Marks is just better. If something's already good and just giving it something extra, obviously it's still good. And I'll throw that down. Because Life and Death could easily not have Death Marks, and it would still be pretty much equally as powerful as it is now. Well, maybe not equally, but you know, it'd still be high up there. Also, speaking of Life and Death is available in about 4 weeks, by the way. Only available for one Tuesday. I will spam mention it like crazy once it comes to that time, because it's probably the most annoying to get weapon that is actually exceedingly viable, because you can only ever get it on one single day, like every several months, and it's just so annoying to try to get in the current state of the game. I wish they would make it a little bit easier to get the old delve weapons, because a lot of people might not even realize like there's a weapon that you get every single Tuesday that's only available for one single day that loops and takes like forever to actually reappear. Because I'm pretty sure most people don't really realize that too much, who haven't been playing for too long. Let's see, we'll throw that down. But how many delves there currently are, it pretty much only cycles once or twice a year with how many delves there are. I think once we have all 34, it only cycles like once every 7 or 8 months. It's something like that. Something ridiculously high. Let's see, we'll throw that down. Of course, we're not there yet, though. I believe the new faction that we had today brings 25 factions, delves, right? I should forget. I believe it's 25. We'll go double check after this battle. It's somewheres around there. Also, hello, Corey G! Hello, Rack! Welcome, welcome! Oh, what do we take here? Let's take a brown. We need barrier. We don't need barrier, but you know what? I'm actually going to go kill that while it has stun on it. The main reason being, of course, so he doesn't get a summon. And we'll throw one more Yasmin's Pride, and that will pretty much be match. We are going to have to wait a turn, so if we take a brown here, that'd be good to regain barrier. We'll then go throw Pokey-Poke on you. Oh, no, you have Stealthy. Oops, I lied. We're not going to Pokey-Poke you. So we'll go Pokey-Poke you. And then we can go get a skull. And, oh gosh, you have Stealthy! I fell for it twice in one battle! I fell for it twice in a single battle. What a fail. I do that a lot with newer troops. Because even though I memorize what most things have, like, what kind of traits, whenever new troops come around, I obviously don't know that initially. And gosh, I fall for it so often when I don't know the troops so well. Massive fail. Twice in, like, 10-second period. Oh, is it 24th? I thought it was the 25th. Let's see. Let me double check. It might be 24th. Oh, yeah, you're right. It is 24. Not sure why I thought it was 25. But yeah, 10 more devils to go. Until we have all 34. We're getting there. Also, we're on a brand new cycle as well. All-Seeing Eye is the beginning of the cycle, and we, of course, had All-Seeing Eye this Tuesday, which means the cycle has completely reset at this point. Also, that reminds me, I still haven't done my dailies. I should probably go do that real quick. We don't have anything too good on dailies, though. We got a little handful of gems, a little handful of glory. Might as well quick kill these real quick. Why not? Where's my Rowan team? Let's run it with that real quick. Might as well. And then we'll go back to the faction. Yeah, definitely can't forget to do our dailies. So then again, adventure board. Now that we have all the hero classes maxed, I don't necessarily need to do it every single day. I just make it a habit. However, dungeons I still want to do every single day, because even though we don't currently need diamonds this late in the game, I still want to in case they ever become viable for anything. Who knows, maybe they'll add a mythic that'll eventually take like 20,000 diamonds or something. Or, you know, like a doom troop of some sorts. Instead of constantly making them power orbs, maybe they'll make them diamonds or some other resource to sync within the game. You never know. I highly doubt it, though. But you never know. Could you imagine if one of the ways that they sync treasure maps is they make a doom troop that requires like 10, 20, 30,000 maps? That would be really hilarious. However, that doom troop would technically cost glory as well, since you could just mass buy maps with glory. Unless they remove that function around that time. What a way to add a resource sink. Just add a troop, Doom troop, that uses like 1 billion of that resource. There you go. Resource sink. That's not a proper way to sink stuff, but it would still be a really, really hilarious sink if they ever did. A lot of things still need a sink. We're not getting that treasure map upgrade for a little while. The next update is going to be the arena update. However, they're doing it separate from the treasure hunt rework. So, yeah, we have no clue when we're going to be getting that. However, arena is next patch, so hopefully they do something really cool with that. Only time will tell. That'll be interesting if arena actually becomes viable again in the current state of the game. Because arena hasn't been viable beyond level 500 since, like, the first year of the game. Like, it's been a very, very long time since arena has been viable beyond, like, early game or mid game. Actually, technically, at no point it has, because the only reason it was so viable at that time in the game was because every account was pretty much like a mid-game account, technically. What is your second troop? My second troop in this troop is my second troop in this team is Rowan. It is by far one of the most powerful, easy to obtain troops in the game. It is obtained simply by completing Forest of Thorns Kingdom. One of the things that makes it so ridiculously broken is it has a 2x boost ratio based on the amount of armor it has. It didn't used to always have this, however, ever since it got this buff a little while back, a couple years ago, it has been very, very exceedingly meta and has only gotten more meta over time. The main reason being, as armor gets higher within the game, Rowan keeps getting stronger as well. Oh, where's the team? But it has a 2x boost ratio based on all of its armor. So whatever armor you have, it gains damage for. One thing that pretty recently, about a year ago, that ended up making this even more broken than normal throughout the entire game, is guard tokens. Of course, they added the token system last October, like mid-October last year, and this system ended up bringing in a bunch of additional stats, and one thing that you can get is 24 additional armor. 24 additional armor on Rowan is 48 additional damage. You can obtain this from pretty early within the game, those medals as well as the troop itself, being able to do a whole 48 additional damage while also having additional durability for your team. It just became very, very broken, and as more stats keep coming to the game, Rowan, with its 2x boost ratio, the scales beyond most other options. There are some things that scale a little bit better, for example, Phoenicia with magic, which is why we still use her for some quick kill stuff within the game. However, Rowan is a very insanely good troop for how easy it is to obtain relative to the other options. So I'm actually going to move this over. That might seem like a weird move, but it gives us Mirage Queen alignment so we can go kill him. And there we go. You can demonstrate Rowan and Delve and show how it's faster than a dual Ketris. Is it actually? I was doing it for most of the time. Can it actually win quicker than it? I've never actually timed them side by side to ever really definitively know. We were using Rowan for a lot of the early side, but it seemed like it was starting to get slower than the Ketris build. Let's see. The one thing it would do a little bit better is work past the Stealthies. So maybe it is slightly quicker. Not normally it wouldn't be, but given the Stealthy and the revive on that one troop, it might actually be this given week for the event. Though it wouldn't normally be quicker than a Ketris build. Alright, there we go. I don't know, we could give it a shot though. Let's finish out the current Delve we're on though if we're in one. No, we are not. But we can go back to Rowan build. Yeah, I haven't tried it with Thrall. We could go with the Thrall route. So we go with Thrall in there. Throw in a Rowan. We put in our Skia shield, obviously. And we'll put in a Leprechaun for good measure. And there we go. And anything else we need to change? Banner is not correct. No, it is correct. And the reason you do that is because you have +2 blue, +2 yellow, because you use the +1 green off a Leprechaun. This makes it so a 4x or a 5x Rowan will get full mana. Or sorry, only a 5x. If you have half mana start, or 4x would. However, we're not running a build right now that has that. And we'll just run it with Titan, which should be fine, because that still maintains the stun, which of course will help us stun the first slot so it doesn't get a revive. Will double Rowan be quicker on higher levels? No, normally just buffing one is quicker. Throw a single buff into one, and it's basically become 2. And then just keep casting this one. And just keep casting the single one. And that should be enough to kill. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I didn't stun you yet, did I? That would possibly help. And it's dead. Gosh, can you literally just use the Rowan build the entire time? We were using this for most of the beginning half. However, we haven't been using it on this stream. And I did eventually switch over to the Ketris build. But given all the Stealthy and that one revive thing that sometimes triggers, this might actually be quicker this week. It normally isn't quicker, though. But for this particular delve, it might be. And I should be dead. But yeah, Rowan or Scae's Shield. Our Scae's Shield is also super easy to obtain, though a little bit harder than the Rowan itself. You get it from 250 wins off a Sentinel Hero class, which you get from the Urscea Kingdom. So all you have to do is go through the Urscea Kingdom questline, unlock the hero class, set as your hero class, win 250 times, and then you get the weapon. Oh, what am I doing? I'm just like trying to use it as if it's Yasmin's Pride. Like trying to target one of the enemies. Okay, he is stunned now. So now would be a great time to go kill it. So we'll do exactly that, but we will need another cast because of its magic reduction. Unfortunately, there's no skull, which would have killed it a little bit quicker, but though it just cascades off the sky, so that works. Perfectly fine. But yeah, this kind of bypasses the whole Stealthy. So ends up working out pretty well. Wait, are Scare Shield stuns? Oh, what up? I almost forgot about that aspect. It has stun as its final thingy? Oh yeah, it does have stun. Oh, that's rather convenient. That is rather convenient for this delve. We were using it for the first full half and I didn't realize that a single time. That it has stun on it. I must have thought it was just a trait that it was hitting into with a skull. But yeah, double Rowan is pretty much never used. Compared to just buffing a single Rowan is always better than using a double Rowan. Same as Guard's Avatar and any similar related troop, as well as Phoenicia and stuff like that. It is better... Well, actually, Phoenicia might be an exception, just because it's hard to buff magic. But anything that buffs off of anything other than magic, it's normally better just to buff their stat with an upscaling option rather than to use two of it. Because you get the stats a lot quicker. And you can also normally disperse the manas that they use. Because right now we get to cover 3 manas instead of just 2 if we were just using double Rowan. I want to see if we can actually one-shot. I don't think we can. No, 1,000 armor is not enough to one-shot. I thought it was worth a shot to check. But no, 1,000 armor cannot one-shot them. Even though that's over 2,000 damage. They just have so much durability that that is not enough damage. Too bad stats have a cap. I remember when there was no cap in this game and you can go literal, like, infinite numbers for your stats. That was a really fun time. There's almost no ways to do it. However, we do have a video that was in really extremely bad quality from when we, I don't think we had a channel yet, I just happened to record it, where we had, like, I think 20, 30 digits of stats. I forget what the number would have even been called, but it was absurdly large how many stats we had. And there was no end to it. You could literally go until it wrapped around the entire screen if you wanted to. Though it technically wouldn't due to how the text scaled. But it was pretty funny. There was literal no bounds to it. I wonder if they would ever crash at any point. I don't think it would have. But yeah, unfortunately, pretty early in the game cycle, before it was even realistically possible to really reach in a normal gameplay, they end up scaling it all the way down to 1,000. And still to this day, it's at 1,000. I'm kind of curious if this game will ever power creep so far that they actually make it 10,000. I actually wouldn't be surprised if that becomes a thing. Because 1,000 is increasingly becoming pretty easy to hit with some teams. It depends on like what kind of build you're running. But there are quite a few builds, especially against higher level content, where you can very easily reach 1,000 stats. Oh, you're webbed, aren't you? Why did I do that? I should have done the one that wasn't webbed. Would have been much more effective. Also, speaking of web, Rowan being webbed actually doesn't matter. For the most part. And the main reason for this is most of her damage comes from her armor, not from her magic. Speaking about armor, hello, 1000 armor. That cleanse at a perfect timing to go kill that owl again, and we're good to go. No, this place is not better than City of Thieves. So it actually only has 2 guaranteed treasure rooms. City of Thieves has 3 guaranteed treasure rooms. They are also all 1 away from the first battle, whereas this place is actually technically 2 away from the first battle, except for those 2 if they were there. But no, this place only has 2 guaranteed ones. It's the very top one and the very bottom one. It is possible to get more than that. However, even City of Thieves is possible to get more than that. But no, it's only 2 guaranteed. City of Thieves is 3 guaranteed. There are several rooms from this delve that are capable of being treasure room, though, however. But City of Thieves still ranks higher. The other problem with this delve is it doesn't have as many tier 5s. City of Thieves, you have to keep in mind, even if you ignore the fact that it has 3 treasure rooms, it has so many tier 5 battles. Not even counting the treasure rooms that can be it. It has 2 tier 4s and 2 tier 5s. This place, in the place of the tier 5s or tier 4s, have tier 2s, and in place of tier 5s, has tier 3s. So it's overall really low if you just compare it to that. Because City of Thieves is 3 treasure rooms, 2 tier 4s, and 2 tier 5s. That's just so much loot. Most other delves can't even touch that. So we're running so low on sigils. Also, once we reach 400, we'll hand out a code. Because we're on, what, 380 right now? Go hand out a code soon, TM then. Doom Club, King Gob, and a Thrall. That would work. And then just use the Doom Club for cleanup. Thrall for your initial mana accumulation. And it'd be good to go. But that would definitely work. I think at this point we're just running Rowan for the rest of the time. We'll finish the same way we started. Rowan, just obliterate everything. But yeah, Thrall's even more broken in delves. If you thought he was broken in other locations with how many gems he destroys, in delves, he can pretty consistently destroy the entire board. If he can get his destroy 64 gems or higher, he will do the entire board. Anything beyond that does nothing. But if you can get it to at least 64 or higher, he will indeed destroy the entire board. And doing so is obviously very, very, very ultra ridiculously devastating with how much mana you get. Because unlike Explosion, which at one point did 100% mana gain, then 70, and now has been nerfed all the way to 50%, destroying gems gives you 100% of the value of the gems destroyed. So him destroying an entire board of 64 gems will claim the mana and damage of every single skull and mana on the board. So if there are 10 browns on the board, you just got 10 brown mana. If there's 15 greens, you just got 15 green mana. If there's like 7 skulls, you just 7 skull damage. However, Exploding Skulls also gets full value. It only is applicable to the mana for its reduced amount. It oddly enough still does full damage per every skull. Anyways, let's go get this thing a buff. It is 1 mana short. How ridiculously unfortunate is that? We're going to have to throw this Thrall for 1 single mana. There we go. And then we'll throw that in there. Go get herself a Rowan. And probably buff it again, then Rowan again, because I don't think that's enough without it being at 1,000. So we'll get it all the way to 1,000. And that should be enough to wipe. And there we go. And luckily, if Xenos would have hit her, it wouldn't have been too big a deal. Just have some magic and steal some HP, which on a Rowan means pretty much nothing, because it barely uses magic and it doesn't need HP to boost ratio, unlike Ketris, which does. I'll throw a Rowan, a Leprechaun down there. Go throw our manas there. Throw a shield. Get herself some destroy. Get a Thrall in there. Do it again. That should be a little bit short because of his spell reduction. Ideally, we'd have a skull, and luckily we do. Hello, Gearwax. You missed it. What class are you using, and what medals? Actually, I believe I'm using the wrong medals right now, although it doesn't really matter too much what medals we're using, as long as we're running 20% mana start, of which we are. But 20% mana start into a bunch of armor or seasons or pretty much anything. As long as you're running 20% mana, the rest of your medals really do not matter for this particular team that we're running, due to how high your stats scale. making the rest of your stats pretty much pointless in that regard. However, the hero class that we're currently using is Titan. The main reason for this is this is a good all-around tanky hero class, but it also gets a stun anytime it gets hit with a skull. So if Skia Shield doesn't cover it, you'll have the option of doing it with your trait. And if nothing else, it'll also refresh the stun. If you want to get stunned on first slot, this is very important within the stealth because of the first slot has a 100% chance to summon a troop on death, and you obviously do not want that to happen. And to prevent that, you just simply stun it. And on very first trait on Titan does have a stun whenever it gets hit by a skull. And also says barrier every brown, which is the main reason why you actually run a Titan. Is to tank up with that so it doesn't end up dying. Alright, we'll go throw this down, go get her buff. Go throw another Rowan in there. We'll probably get another explosion and get that rolling. Go get another destroy. Also, I said I had to give out a code at 400. Did we reach 400? Yeah, I think we're almost there. Also, I cannot stun him directly. That's rather unfortunate. He's going to get a revive, but we could easily clean it up with a Rowan, so it doesn't matter too much. And just kill the Rowan and be good to go. Hello, Bushka! Welcome. We'll go hand out a code in a moment. Also, that's my last code of the previous batch. If we didn't get more codes, we would have been out of codes right now. Luckily, we got some more codes the other day. Let's finish out this battle, then we'll hand out a code. And then we'll use every last sigil we have. That is the game plan. And then tomorrow night, we do Pure Faction. Both 500 and Deathless. We'll do it both on stream. And see how it goes. Should be pretty easy for the most part. But we'll get to see how it goes. Main thing that's going to make it pretty easy is we have instant kill chance. And instant kill is, of course, pretty decent in Delves. What's the proper way to build up Horde stats? Horde stats. You use your smaller treasure, then work towards your bigger treasure. Generally, the thresholds for them is coin purse. You only run up to 20. So from 1 to 20 or 0 to 20. I forget starting level. I think it starts at 0. So from the 0 to 20, you run coin purse. However, if you have enough rings, you just run it all the way to 50. From 20 to 50 or from 1 to 50, if you have a lot of them, you run rings. From about a 50 to 100, you run chalices. Any other three can pretty much be used at any point beyond this point. And crowns you would normally do up to about 120, 130, 150, somewhere around there. Like the 120 to 150 range. Genie lamps you normally want to use from about 130 plus. And sacred treasure you normally don't want to use until about 150 plus. Generally you never upgrade a delve beyond 200. It just requires so many resources that you would never really do it. Realistically, you technically only need to upgrade every delve in the game to 100. Anything beyond that is not necessarily needed. So if you want to distribute it up that way, the breakdown would be a little bit different. I wouldn't really advise just going to 100, but earlier on in the game that might be a little bit more of a goal, in which case you can still kind of do that premise, except you'd want to run the crowns, genie lamps, and sacred treasure much earlier than you normally would in order to save gold. Yeah, this delve does have instant kill, so theoretically you only need to go to 100. I went to 155, but the main reason for this is also to assist with Tuesday delves. One of the reasons I even upgrade all of these is because whenever they wrap back around on Tuesdays, it would give you additional stats for you to quick kill them with, which makes every single time they appear on Tuesday go quicker. Might only save like a minute or two, but having them slightly more upgraded is beneficial going into the forward. And while delves don't cycle anywhere near as much as they used to in the past, they still do cycle, so having them a little bit higher does help. It also technically shows on your profile what your average level is for them. And if you want that number to be high, you can upgrade them. I don't think most people care about that number. However, it technically does show on your profile. Haha, we have 169 as our average. We also have one at 222. That's actually Silver Necropolis, or Necropolis, however you say it. But yeah, 169 is our average. What a funny number. But that's our average right now. Anyways, what am I going for? I am finishing this. Let's keep going. Oh yeah, code. Hold up. Hold up. I forgot to give a code. Code time! Let me go grab the last code. Or not the last code. I have another 30. But last code from previous batch, which means pretty much nothing to you guys, but it means a slightly different location as far as where I pick it up. Let's see. There we go. Put that there. 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 We good? We good. Okay, let's go copy paste this. And go hand it to you guys. Okay, so this redeem code is used on gemsofwar.com underneath the game code section. Or you can simply go click on that link right there and it'll bring you to the page to go use it. Your invite code can be found underneath your settings menu. Whatever your game says right over here in the bottom left corner is what you put in for your invite code. Right where it says invite code in orange text, whatever your game says there is what you put in. Redeem code is right over there in chat. Just copy paste the random numbers and letters starting with JT. And it gives us the same reward as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. Right over here. And it only works on PC mobile version of the game. Right there, guys, go. Enjoy the loot. Of course, the main loot being a gem key. And if you want to go waste it, you can go try for the Mythic with it today. Or wait a week until it's not the Mythic, because, gosh, that Mythic is bad. But I don't know, some people will still try for it. I'm pretty sure if we check global, it shows almost like no one getting it compared to normal. Though it is pretty late at night. Well, it's not late at night yet, but we are in global 2. Let's see, how many people got the Mythic? We got 1. I wonder if some people are still trying for Iron Gut. We still got a couple showing up in the last hour in this chat. However, global chat 1's the main chat. You'd want to check for it. But I don't think it shows all the way back if I just enter it now. It shows a little bit back, but not that far. So, actually, there's almost more Mythics in global chat 2 than in global chat 1, if it's showing every single one. Because we only got 1 right there. Because we saw 3 within an hour. This has 2, and it has 3. They both have 3 in an hour. Interesting. Both global chat 1 and 2 are doing the same on Mythics today, apparently. You got 2 Mythics with 1 pull? Nice. That's very lucky. Congrats. Very lucky pull. Alright, let's keep going. We're almost there. We should be able to get 1 more Valraven, and then we'll get the last of our battles that we need tomorrow. Oops, there's a... Well, I was just mentioning you, Valraven. Hello. Welcome to the battle. Please don't escape with a 5 times yellow. You know you don't want to do that. Could you imagine how awful that would be if it actually somehow landed that? Imagine if I left that on the board. That would be very, very ridiculously bad. Okay, let's throw her down to Rowan. Problem, though, I don't have any way to target it directly. Luckily, it has no mana at the moment, so that's not too big a deal for the most part. However, it can still be a bit problematic. My biggest concern is we just randomly give it a 5 times yellow somehow. And it looks like we're going to be fine. We'll throw that down, I'll kill it, and anything follows up to kill. And it'll be good to go. Also, no, taking a skull I don't think would have been enough to kill it there. Even though it kind of seemed like it would have been in that situation. He has so much spell reduction, I don't think it would have been enough. Well, it might have, who knows. Maybe I should have taken the skull. Didn't see at the time. Because there was actually extra turn to skull just sitting there. I'm trying for a skull right... Speaking of skull, I'm trying to skull for right now. But I can't get it. Wait, why don't I just Rowan? I didn't realize we had full mana Rowan. I wasn't casting the other 2 because when they're webbed, they do like almost nothing for their amount of explosions. But yeah, we could just throw Rowan. How long has she been sitting there with mana? I was like sitting there for a couple turns as you probably had full mana the whole time. Okay, so all we need is 1 more Valraven and we could theoretically do it today. Though I highly doubt we would get it, nor would we do it today even if we did. But tomorrow is the game plan. Actually, we'll end up perfectly tonight then. We'll be at 409 completion tonight, which means we'll be at 500 Deathless ready to go tomorrow. And then straight into Pure Faction tomorrow. So that's actually going to work out 100% perfect. Because we're likely not to get another Valraven. And then the 3 battles tomorrow will lead us to Deathless. And then 2 attempts on Pure Faction. You've been trying to get Horde level 100 on new delves. And save the higher treasure to eventually see how high you can get City of Thieves. Yeah, that could end up working out as a pretty good strategy. I'm not sure if anyone's trying to get a max delve yet as far as Horde level. I'm pretty sure there's at least someone in the game trying for it. I wouldn't really advise it because I believe it takes trillions of gold. And no, I'm not kidding. I said trillions. It literally takes trillions of gold to get a level 1000 faction. I don't think they ever actually intended anyone to do so. Like, the amount of gold it takes is more gold than I've donated to my guild the entire time my guild has existed. My guild has existed for about 4 years now. And all that gold would not be enough to get a level 1000 delve. Unless you had all Sacred Treasure. However, there's realistically no way you would have that much Sacred Treasure, ever. I forget the exact amount of Sacred Treasure you would need, but it's a very absurd number in the thousands of thousands of thousands. I forgot what the math is on it. It's been a while since that knowledge needed to be known. It was calculated towards the beginning of Delves. I think before it was even released even. Or around that time. But yeah, it is absurd how much resources you need for it. It is realistically impossible. Though someone will eventually do it. Like 5 years into the future. The first person with a level 1000 delve. Realistically, you should never go beyond 200. Even 300 can be pretty hard to reach. So that's a lot more realistic. Even 500 is realistic to reach. However, once you start getting to like 700, 800, 900, and especially 1000, it is exceedingly near impossible. Someone will eventually do it, though. Knowing this game. I still remember the first person who saved a trillion gold in this game. That was back when gold farming was a lot slower, too. There was a weird method that you can make it slightly quicker. However, overall, it was slower than the current rate that exists right now. And they saved an entire trillion gold. I believe they were also the first person to ever reach level 1000. Wait, can it be done with 1001 sacred treasure? What level does that go to? There's no way that goes to 1000, does it? I don't think it would. A trillion or a billion? Oh, my bad. I meant a billion, not a trillion. Did I say a trillion? I meant billion. That was a billion gold, not a trillion gold. No, a trillion gold would be absolutely absurd. No, I meant a billion. And that was back when farming it was way slower in the current state of the game. Yeah, I meant a billion. Trillion is, yeah, that's pretty impossible. I don't think anyone will ever hold a trillion gold and not have spent it. We might eventually see people who have donated a trillion gold into a given guild. However, to actually have a non-spent trillion gold, it's probably never going to happen in this game, unless gold just becomes so much easier to obtain. Because the current rate for farming gold, even if you have VIP 20, is about 1 million per hour with VIP 20. So, yeah. So that's 1,000 hours just for a billion with that rate. Which means, wait, would you really have to play that long? Wait, what's the math on that? So it's a... Would that really be 1 million hours? No, I'm doing math wrong, I think. Hold up. How long is that? If it's 1,000 for a billion, under that circumstance, what would be the, yeah, so that'd be 1 million hours. You'd have to play the game on VIP 20 for 1 million hours, farming the max gold rate the entire time, in order to ever hold an actual trillion. Which is probably never happening. Though there are people that almost have, oh, not that much playtime, but there are people that have, like 50,000 plus hours in this game. We're currently at, 12,400, though that doesn't count my alternative accounts and stuff that we've done in the past. As far as just specifically on this one Steam account, not counting mobile, not counting all the other versions of the accounts and everything else, we're at 124,000 hours played. I mean, not 124,000, I mean 12,400 hours played. Which is still an absurd number. Though surprisingly, not the most amount of time I've ever put into one game. So it's getting there. Gems of War will eventually be the game I've played more than any other game. Though however, it is not there yet, surprisingly. Though it hasn't had as much time to be there yet, because it's only been out for 6 years. It's actually the 6-year anniversary is coming next month. I believe mid-November is the 6-year anniversary for the game. They normally do something a little special every single time. Not sure exactly what they'll do this year, but they'll do something. Some years have been bigger than others, but they'll definitely do something for it. Let's see. But I meant to say 1 billion earlier. Not a trillion. Trillion gold is literally impossible. Hello, Defiant. Welcome. Also, if anyone still has any other questions, do let me know. Because we'll probably call it a wrap for the night once we end up getting to full completion for this place. Or not full completion, we're going to level 490. Because we're doing Deathless and Pure Faction tomorrow night. When we do our stream. Oh, we're going to need 2 casts here still. Oh, never mind. Okay, 1,000 armor is apparently enough. It's surprising that you actually have to question if 1,000 armor will be enough to kill. Because their stats are also so high. That you don't know for sure if that will actually end up working. Also, one thing I find kind of interesting, now that YouTube shows me my average watch time with this new format that they have, I find it interesting that when we did our about 3-hour stream earlier this morning, it actually has almost the same average watch time as our nightly stream, which means a lot of people leave our other stream then, if that's the case. If we have a 3-hour stream yet still have the same average watch time. It's slightly lower on this stream, but it's... Given how much shorter this stream is relative to the other one, it's pretty high up there. It's only like a minute difference in average view time per person. Which means technically our nightly streams have better retention. Aha! Well, I guess it kind of makes sense if we're doing an hour-long stream. Not to mention a longer stream, not necessarily everyone will be able to watch for X amount of duration relative to the total length of stream. Whereas an hour isn't nearly as long. Oh, sometimes we go a little bit longer than an hour. Depends what we're doing. On how long the nightly stream normally goes, but they normally go for like 1 or 2 hours. But sometimes they can go much, much longer depending on what we're doing, but that's normally where they fall. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that normally watch the whole stream. We actually have ridiculously high retention for our channel when it comes to videos and streams. Because I think the cutoff is normally 10%. Or, you know, like 10% of the total thing. And we're normally around like 50% as far as retention. Anywhere from like 30% to 50%. Which is absurdly high for any YouTube channel. So thank you for watching the whole video. That's perfectly fine if you can't. Let's see. Throw that down. Of course, the other thing that can happen with that too, that brings the number down, is if someone watches partway through. So of course, not everyone watches at the beginning, especially for in the case of a live stream. So obviously, they just watch what is currently live. Let's see. Throw that down, which technically brings that number down. YouTube cares way too much about that number, I feel like, though. They care generally about 2 numbers the most, and it is watch time and retention time. Probably more so than almost every single other stat. The other stats do help, like likes and, you know, comments, other various random things. But in recent years, those seem to be some of the most consequential ones. Is how well the video actually is at retaining people. As well as how well they are on click-through. As in, how likely a person is to click on another video after a certain video. Because obviously that's how YouTube makes more money. Because then ads play at like the beginning of like literally every video. What level did you put Thrall into your team? You could technically do it at any level. There's no like level where you would have to put him into your team. We only just recently started using this again. But yeah, there's no certain level that you can do it at. You can do it whenever. Doesn't matter what level you put it in at. Let's see. We'll throw that down. After this, you'll watch my morning one. What does that do for my numbers? Well, every single little bit helps out. Exactly so, we don't know. Exactly. Because obviously they have a complicated algorithm for it. There's always approximates that can be discovered. As far as like the exact breakdown of how everything works, that's never normally known. And YouTube keeps changing it like every so often. Which makes it even harder to track what you're supposed to do correctly. YouTube's not really transparent with a lot of their stuff. Like, at all. For how big of a company they are ultra non-transparent. Oh, I'll throw that down. Like, they can make sweeping changes. Like, we even had it to, like, the streaming service thing. With, like, almost no notice whatsoever. Let's see, we'll throw that down. Oh, I could have taken Skull there. What was the reason for replacing Obsidious? It's only on first slot, and there's two other ways to deal with Obsidious. One is Titan, whenever it gets hit by Skull, will stun it. And that was the method I was using earlier. However, there's another method, which someone brought to my attention, which I kind of forgot. Arskea's Shield does stun on cast. So you can actually use Arskea's Shield to also stun it. So not only will Titan stun it and refresh its stun whenever you they hit you with a Skull, but you also will be able to go and do it whenever you cast Arskea's Shield. So not only did we stun it when Arskea's Shield did this thing, but we also stunned it again when it did a Skull against us. So both of those two instances can stun. And given that the troop is only ever on first slot for the first and final battle, it's really easy to deal with that, since both of these two options hit first slot. When they hit a Skull on you, it'll trigger on first slot. And when you use Arskea's Shield, it'll trigger on first slot. The only thing not using Obsidious will be bad against is any of the other battles that have Revive. However, that's not normally too big a deal. These very few other battles have Revive. However, there is one really weird Drake Rider battle that does have one. But it doesn't come up too often. Also, if anyone has any other questions, anything else you want me to go over, let me know. Otherwise, as soon as we finish out this delve, we'll probably start wrapping up for tonight after any last-minute questions. And then we'll be back tomorrow night with Gems of War, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 hour prior to now tomorrow. And tomorrow night, we will be doing two very big things. Level 500 Deathless, which should be pretty straightforward. It's basically just what we're doing now without dying once. And the other one, which will be more interesting, will be Pure Faction 500, which will be using all the Delve troops and winning out Pure Faction. The team that we're going to likely be using for that is the Spider that has the 100% revive that does all the explosions, the Deep Huntsman, followed by three Deep Magnuses. Or sorry, not Deep Magnus. I meant to say Mountain Valine. Matron Valine, I mean. So basically a Deep Huntsman with triple Matron is what we're going to be running most likely for Pure Faction. And we'll see how that rolls. One nice thing about this is we will be able to get a triple Curse Web. And one of the really nice benefits about webbing the enemy is they're going to have really high stats, but when they're webbed, they will have 0 magic for that duration, which will make them super easy to destroy, since they'll barely have any damage back to us. And on this final battle, all we have to do is spam instant kills on their instant kill method, and then we win, because we'll be able to out-instant kill them, and then we just kill everything else out. And once we kill out their instant kill method, they'll have almost nothing else to kill us out with, because they're all going to be webbed. The biggest thing we'll actually have to worry about when we do Pure Faction is Skulls. Skulls are going to be the biggest threat out of anything, but that's pretty easy to deal with. Obviously, we're normally just letting them hit us with Skulls, but when we do Pure Faction, we just got to make sure it just doesn't get any Skulls, and we'll pretty much be good to go. Just get a few extra turns, take all the Skulls, and you'll pretty much almost never take damage. Be pretty nice. But yep, our 3 sigils tomorrow will let us do 490, then 500 Deathless, and then 500 Pure Faction. That is the game plan with those 3 sigils. Though we have exactly enough, so that's going to be a little scary. Because if we lose even one battle, we will not have enough sigils, and we'll have to spend like 200 gems. Unless we get a Valraven between then, or we'd have to wait till Sunday. But no, we'll get it done tomorrow. Even if we have to spend 200 gems for it. But hopefully we'll get a first try on all 3 battles. We should be able to. Actually, the thing that might actually be more likely is not getting it on Deathless. We might want to change up our team a little bit just to make sure we have a little bit better chance of not dying. However, we have yet to die on it yet, so I'm able to just keep it as is. Or maybe go Sentinel or something. Though, I don't know, we'll see. It still gains barrier from the weapon as well, so half mana start technically tanks for it as well, compared to Sentinel, which doesn't have half mana start. Let's see. A lot of your guildmates have been getting new mythics on first 50 or 200 keys. Is it normal? That is lucky. If you get it in 50 to 200, that is lucky, though it is possible. But it is lucky, generally. On average, it will take you about 1,000 keys. However, it can be done in 1 keys. It can be done in 100 keys. It can be done in 1,000. It can be done in like 3,000 or 4,000 if you get ultra unlucky. But yes, getting it within about 50 to 200 is definitely possible to happen multiple times. We've gotten 3 mythics this week within 50 to 200, or within the last month. We got the previous mythic, not the one that came out today, but the one that came out last month. We ended up getting that within 50. And we got 2 Iron Guts this Monday. One within 50 and the other one within like 150 or 200. I forget the exact number. So it's definitely possible, though those are considered towards the luckier end. And on average, we'll take about 1,000, give or take several hundred. Like today, it took us 1,400 to get the new mythic that came out, which is about a little below average. That's about where the luck is, just a little bit worse than it. Like that's what you can kind of expect for an average mythic, is to take about like 1,000, 1,200, somewhere around there. 1,400 is slightly below drop rate, but it's still about average. It's towards the lower end of it. Obsidius will be good in first and last battle to stun all the enemies. Yes, it's pretty important to stun. You mostly only need the first one stun though in this kind of delve. However, stunning the other ones would give you the benefit of not having to deal with web and curse. However, that's not really too big a deal based on what effects they have. They don't really have anything to follow up to really utilize the curse. And the web doesn't really do stuff to like things like Rowan. And even to something like Ketris, it barely even touches it because it uses most of its other stats to gain its boost ratio. Anyways, does anyone else have any other questions? Otherwise, we'll be calling it a wrap for tonight. We'll be back 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 hour prior to now tomorrow. Same time as always. And other than that, we will be doing 2 streams probably tomorrow before then. We'll be doing another Mario 35 stream. I have no clue what happened to our first stream. So I guess technically our first Mario 35 stream. We technically streamed it, but I have no clue what YouTube did with that. It's a whole mess. But anyways, we'll do that for like a few hours in the morning. And then we'll go, or maybe more towards noon. And then we'll probably do Fall Guys for the rest of the time. I probably will separate the 2 streams, though, for anyone who just wants to see Mario 35. As that probably has a little bit more attention right now than something like Fall Guys. But I still love playing Fall Guys. Also, Season 2 of Fall Guys is this Monday. Not to mention it's also Season 2 of Gems of War, which kind of works out quite well. We'll be covering both, obviously. Obviously more so Gems of War, since this is primarily a Gems of War focused channel, even though we do other stuff. Trying to diversify some. But anyways, guys, hope you have a wonderful night. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Best of luck if you're trying for the useless mythic. And best of luck with the delve. I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye, everyone. And don't forget, you still have 2 more days to go do the delve. Get the rest of today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And then it won't be around for a while because we just had All Seeing Eye, so it'll be a very long time before this delve wraps back around again. So if you want to get some amount of score for this with a small peer faction at like 100 or 200, or do it completely to 500 peer faction, now would be the time because it'll be a very long time before you see this delve again. Also has a new weapon, but the new weapon's useless, which you can also get by spending at least, how much was it? I think it's like 410 towards the event. I forget exactly how much tier 4 is. I think it's 410. You can also craft it in Soulforge. This weapon won't be available for like another 6 months. However, it's pretty dead content, so unless you just really want to have it. Though if you're already going deep or trying to get all the rewards, you probably already have it laying around, but still worth mentioning. Anyways, guys, we'll catch you later. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Greatly appreciated. Goodbye.